playing another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Gonna jump in here and jump out pretty quickly. You saw the title, LeBron James. I'm a couple days late on his tweet, and I'll get to that. I'd be remiss if I just didn't say I had some people comment on the channel, one way or the other, mainly embracing Candace Owens when I was talking about LeBron or something else. And I don't think he put his foot in his mouth here, but I'm not going to talk about this here. I might go into it more in depth on It's Always Personal. But Candace Owens, to speak out on this Juneteenth situation, wow, that just blew me away right there. For all of the people that came on here and commented previously about how great she is, I'm at I can't find the words to really say anything about how you could be that ignorant. Just trying to speak on everything that comes down the pipe. Really, it was really no reason for her to weigh in on that. But like I said, I'll go into that more on It's Always Personal, most likely, the podcast. You can check it out there, Google Play or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as Anchor. LeBron James. So LeBron came out and made a tweet about he told the league. He told the league, and as one of the elder statesmen in the league, as one of the biggest names in the league, or the biggest name, at the top of the biggest names in the league, he weighed in about the scheduling situation and what the NBA tried to do with how it laid out this season. And this is another situation where, sometimes we saw out there last year, Kyrie was talking about the players need to form their own league, or black players need to form their own league. In my opinion, the interests of the team, of the teams, the league, the system, the organization, is always going to clash at some point in time with the individual and with the player. So for me here in this situation, this is just a, kind of somewhat of a confirmation of what I'm getting at. But he comes out and says, he tried to tell the league that injuries were going to happen, and basically suggesting that, like, if anybody knows anything about the body, it's him, because from what we've come to learn, he spends an exorbitant amount of money to preserve his body year in and year out, and to be able to do what he's doing at the age that he is, whether it's 35, 36, I can't remember. I think this might have been the end of his 17th or 18th year in the league, 17th or 18th season in the league. And the guy has been, I refer to him as a mutant. He's just been a mutant. But he came out and said, and I know they hit him. This was the perfect opportunity for the Candaces of the world and her following to point out the fact that the brother's English is bad. What up, 503 Lion, man? A lot of action this weekend for you. Tons of action for you. Good to hear from you. I'm going to have to check you out and see what your comment. I kind of been away from boxing in a way, but I'm going to have to come over and check you out and see what the conversation is all about with all of the action this weekend. But yeah, LeBron says, I tried to tell him, and now I hate it. I'm out here as a advocate for the fans. We're at the most critical point in time of the season, and a lot of the main attractions, a lot of the big names are missing playoff games, and playoff games are limited. And I somewhat agree with him, but I'm not too mad at the whole situation, because it's a weird playoff season. It just is. But my point is, I need to mark this down. My point is, just a year ago, most of the thinking was that the major impetus for the NBA to do whatever it took to carry out, to complete the balance of the season, to have the postseason and the finals. A lot of talk was about they were mainly doing that because we don't know how many, they didn't know how many opportunities they had where LeBron James would be at 100% and his situation would be great. And so thereby the playoffs would be highly viewed, which they weren't. And that, the finals would have great viewership numbers, and it would be the best business for the NBA. That's what the word was. The NBA mainly came back because they wanted to take advantage of a brand like the LA Lakers and then their best player being on. That was the thinking behind it. Quick aside, I saw today where what's his name, Ronaldo? I get that dude's name mixed up. Surpassed 300. He was the first athlete to surpass 300 million Instagram followers on it was a Christian something. I don't know that the dude who plays soccer over the pretty boy over in Europe. But he had 300 million Instagram followers. I was quite amazed that LeBron, for all of the stick that he takes and all of the attacks and the hatred and yada yada yada, LeBron was number 5 or 6 on there with 84 million followers, which isn't even half of my man's, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. But the thought was last year the NBA came back to cash in on LeBron and the Lakers. So now I don't really see where LeBron can come in and complain at what the league did this year in any way, because they had to try to get back on schedule. And so they mixed things around a little bit this year and, condensed some stuff, whatever, settled on 70-something games. And some of these guys' bodies are paying the price for it. But again, they tried to help you out last year, bro. And I keep saying this. I really don't think the Lakers would have beaten I don't think the Lakers would have beaten them. I think the Milwaukee Bucks would have won a championship last year. I thought they were rolling along pretty well. I thought with the home court advantage that they were going to likely have, I really think Milwaukee was going to do their thing last year. Now, I know Jrue Holiday is a great upgrade from what they had last year, and I know Tucker, defensively does some things, but I think the Bucks might have pulled it out last year. So again, for LeBron to come out and complain, I'm not going to say that he's blowing hot air. I definitely disagree with the people who thought it was a way for LeBron to make excuses of why he's been home for the last 2 weeks or week and a half or whatever it is. I just think that's LeBron. He talks about basketball. That's what he does. He throws the social justice stuff in there to the chagrin of some. I get it. But he talks about basketball quite a bit. But here with thing, I can't really go along with him in terms of his statement really meaning a whole lot. It just the league had to do what it thought it was in the best interest for all 30 teams or 28 teams, however many it is. And like I said, it's presented this opportunity where we're still seeing some new teams out there. We're still seeing some new brands of basketball, some new coaches doing things that we haven't seen them do. And I think I haven't looked at the viewership numbers exactly to speak to that, but I've been more interested in this postseason than I have in a lot of them in a long time. So I don't think the NBA has hurt itself in the long run or in the short run. But again, they had to make a decision. With the exception of the Chris Paul situation with COVID, Kawhi's knee. I mean, my man's knee has been bad. We were bashing my man for the load management. And now we saw once he didn't have any choice but to play, and when he was forced to play nightly, he does have an issue, and is missing the game tonight. Actually, we have 2 game 6s, I believe. So, but again, it's injuries are a part of the game. I know the NBA is a bit different from the NFL and Major League Baseball, where they rely heavily on the elite players to be in the lineup, and typically, with the exception of I guess KD went out a couple of years ago with the Achilles. He went out of the postseason. Klay Thompson, so Klay Thompson went out of the postseason. We saw Kevin Love get his shoulder separated a few years ago in the finals. Kyrie missed some time and whatnot. So I don't know, LeBron, man. I think you should just be happy with the love that you got last year, because I think LeBron and the Lakers benefited the most from things being in the bubble. We also got to factor in that the Clippers got booted last year. Outside of in a normal situation, I'm not so sure that we didn't get that showdown between the Clippers and the Lakers, and things might have been a little bit more challenging to the Lakers last year. So again, I think LeBron benefited pretty well from the decision making of the league to do what they've done. So don't come here now and try to complain. What kind of presentation did he really go to the NBA with to really for the NBA to have really gone along with what he was talking about with injuries? I mean, he's a very unique dude. The way that his body is held up, which might completely be a function of all of the $1 million+ that he invests in the maintenance and all of that stuff that he does. It really may be something there, but that doesn't mean that that's the same situation for every player. Not every player invests in their body in that manner. Not everybody can afford to do that. So I think they did the best that they could for across the board for everybody. And we just get to a point where we got the group that we have. We have the final 8 teams or whatever it is right now, and it's not going too bad. I think LeBron has a point, but it goes both ways. Players sacrifice their bodies going into the bubble with the quick turnaround everyone had to suffer. I agree. I mean, I do. I'm not the one sitting here like, LeBron, shut the hell up. I'm not saying that, and I don't think you think I'm saying that. I just think, like you said, there's some give and take. I think at the end of the day, it was a lot of us didn't agree with them moving forward with the season last year. They did. A lot of us didn't have nothing to do, and I tuned into the bubble playoffs and the bubble play-in stuff last year and enjoyed it. I just think he benefited from that. And now if you look at what happened this year, maybe some of these guys break down anyway, as things have happened with Anthony Davis and whatnot, some of the other All-Stars. It just is what it is. I think, the NBA has had the same cast of guys out here, the same teams for the last several years. A lot of us, especially in the small markets, we've been pissed off by it and been turned off by some of it. And I'm sitting here enjoying Ice Trae. I'm sitting here enjoying Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and whatnot. And I can't do much with the Utah Jazz, but that's a good story. That's a good story. Let me get on off of here, man. I just wanted to jump on real quick, drop my thoughts off on that. Like I said, I know I was a couple days late. Tons of boxing tomorrow. I'm not gonna jump into that right now, but then we got them gimme fights. I mean, again, another weekend with a whole lot of boxing action, but you kind of got to look in the co-main event and in the opening bouts to find some of the real competition. Whereas in the main event itself, we already know who's winning the fight. But anyway, let me get on off of here, man. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you had to start to be great. Enjoy all of the sports this weekend. Let me get on out of here. Peace.